We are under the groove where we speak no evil, see no evil, and hear no evil. Hoover hey to the culture enthusiasts, the Hoover Knights, to the collective, and most certainly to the people. And like I say, always to the people because the people count. What a day. What a day. That's all I could be and say. That's how I started off. What a day. When I say grand rising, it is a grand rising, and we have to do what we need to do to make it so. So, I'm struggling through the day, man. I'm getting through it, like most of you are. So if you're jumping in, man, I appreciate you people getting in this get down with us, uh, where we talk about what affects the people. We're not talking no gang stuff. We're not going to talk about Hoover stuff. We're going to talk about stuff that concern the people. Again, like I said, it's been a crazy day, man, but that's all right, man. This is what life is about. Life is crazy, and we tend to try to make the best of it. So, what's on you guys' mind, man? I see everybody, going to come into this get down, man. It would be most appreciated to have you people tap in into the chat, like, share, comment, and if you so choose, subscribe. The subscription, the likes, and the shares, yeah, they mean a lot. This is the get out, man, where your get out and your involvement in this is appreciated, and we're gonna give back something to you that hopefully you'll appreciate. So here we go. I was talking last Thursday about Donald Trump and the DC, the thing that's going on in the District of Columbia with our folks, and trust and believe that it's actually happening. They have federal agents out there, man, messing with the people, walking up on people, violating constitutional rights. Hey, who are you? What are you doing? Show me ID, all this stuff. No crime has been committed. So that's a violation in and of itself. You're not supposed to do that, man. Federal law says, the Constitution says it, the Supreme Court said it. But this is actually taking place. I'm saying that to say, um, when they're done with DC, in fact, they might not be done with DC, but while they're interacting or involved with DC, how they are, they're headed this way. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. Well, not even that long, but a week at the very least, that, hey, man, get ready. They are coming. They are coming. LA, they named them. Chicago, they said Oakland, and Texas. Where in Texas, I don't know specifically, but they said they are coming. So you brothers better get ready. You sisters too. Anybody that's out there, man, in the life, man, and it ain't above board, and they, give them reason. If you're giving them reason to think that it's not above board, they want to take you off the board. All right. That's to get out, man. Hey, it's good to see comedic aesthetics in this get down as always. Appreciate your get down, man. Appreciate your participation. That means a lot. Lionel's on Vermont 85th is bomb food, bub. Lionel's on 85th and Vermont, 85th and Vermont. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Is that new restaurant on the corner? Well, I got something to say about that. We got a homeboy across the street from there, man. The homeboy Rome. Now Rome been on that corner 85th in Vermont, man, been cooking for a long time, man. And it's kind of shameful that the brother been there as long and everybody know he's been there. Anybody that has any say, I suppose, in what's being built up or what's been established in the community, that they wouldn't help that brother get him a building, help him to run his business. A lot of homies frequent his get out, man. He's there, man, most of the week. He gets down with the burgers and the fries, man. He does the fish, the shrimp, you know what I mean? And ask him if you want something special or in particular. I'm pretty sure he can hook that up for you too. So yeah, Lionel's is okay, but I know we got a homeboy right there on the corner, right directly across the street, been there before Lionel's. And the boy can burn. The boy can burn. So I'm gonna send a shout out to Rome on 85th Vermont. He cooks pretty good food too, bro. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, man, but his food is bomb too. You hear me, comedic? His food is bomb too. Check him out, man. Check him out, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's to get out, man, for a lot of brothers. They're gonna go check out something new. We have that, man. We have this it's a fault. I want to just label it as that. We have these faults about ourselves, man. We got brothers and sisters already established in the community that's there. It would be something to those who are already there, established, cooking food, serving, or whatever. If we would, patronize their establishment, first, get them up and running before we start to, putting our dollars into somebody's get out because it's new and it's a building, you know helping them in their bottom end, man, before we help the loved ones. I'm sitting out there, um, you know, unapologetically, and in all due respect. The brother been there, man. Rome, man, like I say, get out. Y'all want to check him out, man? Go check that brother out, man. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Comedic, try him out, man. Try roll him out, man. You ain't even got to tell him I sent you there, man. He's there, man. Have a conversation with the brother. The brother, man, to sit down and chop it up with you, man, while he's cooking your meal or whatever the case may be, man. Good brother, and like I say, good food. So get at it, go, man. All right, man. And it probably won't. I'm pretty sure it's not going to cost you as much, you know. Especially as as Black people, we need to know how to spend these dollars wisely for the same amount of food, if not more. All right. So give him a shot, man. Give him a shot, man. He's over there. Yeah, that's easier said than done. One of the balling homies should. But, look, man, um, I don't know. For whatever reason, man, it's not always like that. I'm not pointing fingers. Like I said, man, on this get out, we ain't going to speak no evil. We don't see no evil, and we don't hear no evil. You understand what I'm saying, brother? Um, for whatever the case may be, man, Rome is there. He's been there, and all of us from that area and others know he's there cooking, many days of the week. So let's try that, man. Let's give him a shot for his money, man. Let's give him a shot for his money. I think the advertisement is the fact that he's there. He's there. That's advertisement enough. I don't know if the brother could take money and put up billboards and all this stuff, but one thing is for sure. When we're passing up and down Vermont, we see him there and he's cooking. That's advertisement enough. That ain't no different than a taco truck, you know what I mean? Or a tamale truck or whatever, other trucks that be out there. They're not advertising. They just have colorful displays. He's there, man. Big ass blue tent. You can't miss it. All right. Give him a shot for his money. Focus on the focus. I like that though. I see that. Focus on the focus. All right, man. We making some headway, man. We making some headway. Trust. Let the black dollar circulate amongst our people, man. That's the truest stuff, man. Right now, in terms of what we're talking about, that could be said. I don't know Lionel's. Truth of the matter is, I probably wouldn't go. I'm the type of brother, I don't too much like going out to eat because I don't, you know what I mean? If I can't see you prepare my get down, man, that's an issue with me sometimes. Every now and then I get drug out the house and, we go and, you know, and we got these people, cooking our food. And I don't know who these people are. I'm not saying I know who Lionel is. I don't know if the brother is a brother or another. I'm just saying. I know Rome, and Rome gonna get it done, man. He gonna make sure you're full and you're satisfied, and that not only that, but the meal was worth the while. The money you spend on it is worth the while. Let's give him a shot, man. That's all I'm asking, man. He don't got no big fancy building, brand new glass front, hooked onto a new high-rise building on the set. He's right there where he's been before they start to build that stuff over there. So I'm just saying, man. All right. Let the black dollar circulate within the Black community, and especially our community. That go for any community that's trying to get some type of establishment up and running, man. Those who in the community should pay homage to it. Well, give it a try. You don't have to. Yeah, nothing you have to do, but you rather see your dollars go, to something like that, man, because more chances are those dollars will come back to the community. Those dollars will not leave the community. Hey. There it is there, man. Markel Holman, salute back to you, brother. Good to see you up in the get down again. Like I say, man, I'm getting used to the names. And we have so many. I mean, every time we do this touch of bases with the people, there are more people coming in to touch bases. So I appreciate seeing you again in this get down, brother. Way to do that, man. All love and respect. Hey, Al, how's it going, man? How are you and the young king, brother? Yeah, man. Peace to you and yours, bro. Good to see you with this get down, man. Good to see you with this get down. And speaking of you just mentioning your name out, made me think about the get down, man. Tomorrow night, we go in at 6:30. Um, the link is in the chat description, man. Y'all, let's hook up, man, and let's talk about something positive. Let's get on this thing called education, man, because I think that my opinion is that most of our problems come from or evolve as a result of not being educated or lack thereof, you know? Let's educate ourselves, man, as best we can, man, so that when we're, out and about or just kicking it with one another, we're talking sensibly. We know what we're talking about, and based upon what we're talking about, it propels us. It makes us better, because these are the things, and when we talk about education, that we internalize. You know what I mean? And as a result, we can kick it out, man, externally, man, and give it to the people, man. The people need education, man. You know, they've been miseducated. We all been miseducated, and the thing about that is, it ain't like you can't be re-educated. So let's re-educate ourselves, man. Let's do our part, man, and help one another, man, get some understanding and some knowledge about self. So that get down is tomorrow, man, at 6:30. Like I say, it's on Zoom. The link is in the description. So all those who feel like it, man, come on in. And you don't have to have the book. By the way, the title of what we are discussing is Know Thyself. For those of you who don't have the book, no biggie, man. It ain't no problem. Just come in, man, and imbibe on the conversation. Just get in on the conversation, all right? If you have questions, we'll address them, And in fact, I'll pose questions, or people will pose questions to anyone in the chat, man. That way, man, we can get to the know of what's being said and discussed. I think that's important. All right. Hey, man, I see you. I see you, Russell. Much love, homie. Much love, man. Yeah, let's hope that the brother keep it going, And like I said, for those who want to know, man, the brother Burn, he gets down. His shit, his food, his meals are fire. I don't eat meat, but the man makes some nice fish dinner, man, the fish plate. He hooks it up every time. So give him a go, man. Try him out. Comedic, man, Aesthetic said they built a South LA calf on the same side as the post office. Yeah. Lionel's is on the same side as Rome, a block away. Yeah, and I've seen it, and they people are frequenting the joint. Look like there's a problem with parking over there. Some people going in and out that joint. It could be the same way though with Rome. Go and show him some love, man. Like I said, man, it's share the dollars, man. Share the dollars. And like I say, with Rome, he's there, man. So more than likely, the money ain't going nowhere. Reinvest it. For you guys who might sell meat and fish and all that stuff, hey, man, find Rome, man. Tap in. Let him know, man, you got a deal for him. That's how you keep this money flowing. We exchange it, man, between our hands, So that said, man, I'm going to move on, man. Yeah. Top of the evening, right back to you, though, Russell. Yes, sir. Comedic Aesthetic said, if it is to be, it is up to me. Hey, what can you say, homie, to that? There's no rebuttal for that. Not for me anyway. I'm not going to rebuttal that, man. Straight up talk, man. Focus on the focus. Boy, you're a bad dude. Focus on the focus. I love it, man. The fact that you're calling attention to Rome is the advertisement he needs. There you go. True words cannot have been spoken just now, especially in your sentence, because I never knew about Rome. There it is there. So imagine that, man. Imagine that. You just won, hopefully, a many who said, Rome on the corner, what? They probably think about it. Been up there, that blue tent where they cooking. That's him. That's him. So, yeah, this advertisement is free. Like I say, I ain't asking nothing from the people, man. I'm here to help, man, as best I can, man. If we can help each other, man, let's do that. Especially those who are trying to do better for themselves, man. We should never hesitate, man, to help those who are trying to help themselves, man. That's just some real spit. There it is, man. Okay, Michelle says, Hoover, hey, everyone, sending love to the chat. People love sending love to the chat. Ain't nothing wrong with it. He said, oh, okay, Comedic said, I'll go to Rome's, but it feel good for the Hoover community to have a sit down food spot. I can dig it. And I think that's the whole purpose of what I'm saying. This brother, like you say, he gets down, man, and let's get it to the point where we're frequenting his get down to the point where he can have him an establishment, and be the premier get down on that strip if he so choose it. But I've had conversations with him about the get down, and yeah, that's his goal. That's his goal. He does it, what I'm saying, to set himself up in a building where he can, do his thing, man, on a grander scale. And believe you me, I think the brother has a real talent to cook. So let's see what it do, man. Let's see what it do. We're gonna help him get there, man. Let's help him get there. You know, I might even get the brother on the get down and let me speak, truth to power about his get down. Give us a better or greater idea of what he plans to do, with any of the patronage that come to his get down and buys food from him. Let's see what he's talking about. So I'll make that move and I'll try to contact that brother, man. I got his number. I'll call him. Like, hey man, you need to come on the get down, man, advertise your get down, bro. People want to know. They didn't know. So let them know. Okay, we're gonna leave that one alone. And I know y'all see it too, the YouTube PD. Let's move on. Hey Pope, man, how you doing, brother? He said, top of it, bub, just got off work. Big Cutes. Cutes is a big unk that I feel knows how to relate to his people, which is what we need. And I believe he would provide that in us evolving. And shout out to UTG, man. Appreciate that, Pope, man. Appreciate that, man. Again, Cutes and brothers like Cutes. I said this not only to Cutes, I've said it to others, not necessarily on the get down, but I say, man, again, my opinion, a lot of brothers owe it to the community to come back and make good on a lot of what we see as bad. You know what I mean? I just think it's an obligation, man. Now a lot of brothers and sisters might not think the same way or feel the same way. They might, hey man, I did what I did. I'm going about my business, da 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 da. Okay. Here's the reality though, man. It's our community still. It's our community still. And in that respect, I think we have an obligation, man, to see that our community prospers, that is productive, that is positive even, and that we do things to a certain extent or to a point where if we do it right, we do it right and we do it with the same fervor and passion we did when we was in them streets doing what we was doing, we're going to make some changes, man. We'll be able to give back, push forward, or pay it forward to those who need it most. That's one of my main themes. I say, man, for those who need it most, this is why we need to be in this get down, man. So Cutes being one of the dudes, and Cutes from all over. I don't care what nobody say. Cutes, man, Cutes is a known figure, man, and the brother's positive. Everything he talk about, man, he's talking about it, man, in the realest sense. He's talking about it even in real time. So you got to respect him. You got to respect him, man. The dude ain't said nothing out of whack. The brother has said nothing out of whack, nothing messy or anything else, man. He called a spade, man, a duck, and a strike. That's one thing you got to admit about Cutes, man. He ain't messy, but he will speak his piece, and that piece, let him tell it, is truth to power. Hey, but we need more like him to come on this get down, man, if they so see fit. And speak truth to power, man. Speak truth to power. We're not talking about gang. I don't care about that. I don't care about that, man. That has nothing to do with nothing as far as I'm concerned. I think that it's a detriment to us, to anybody involved in it, man. It doesn't help the community. It is not paying no bills. It's not buying groceries. It's not clothing and feeding these kids, man. It's not even helping them get through the day, you know what I mean? From day to day. None of that, So that being said, man, let's make this thing happen. This get down, like I said, is for the people, man. And the people like you guys, when you see fit, you come in, man, and you give your 2 cents, and their 2 cents is worth $2, 20, 200 or whatever. And I don't mean donations. I'm just speaking in terms of the wealth of what you're kicking out. If people would listen, It's the wealth, man. The words are wealth, man. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, all right, man. So yeah, Poe, yeah, real spit, man. I shout out, man, to Big Cutes, man. I shout out to Big Cutes, man. Comedic, okay. So comedic aesthetic, he wants to put this out there. I'm sure you guys see the chat like I see it. But if from time to time I'll speak on some stuff, man. I think that's it's inspiring what he's saying. He's saying bubble. Kemet is the original name of so-called Egypt and the root word of chemistry, bub. And the root word of chemistry, bub. Would you say the opposition is trying to do chemet or chemistry? Yeah. 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 They'll put another, our chemistry, man. Like I said, and I say this all the time, it's like no other. It's like no other, especially once we get past, all that's set up before us to keep us from moving forward. Once we get past that, can't nobody throw a wrench in our get out, man. Can't nobody change it into something that it's not, you know what I mean? Because we're on point with it. Try as they may, we're still at such a point where we're going to do what we need to do. We're going to get some stuff done when we're on the same page and wavelength, chemistry, yeah, I get it. Chemistry. And we have the chemistry. Anything that look like us has the chemistry. All right. That's a fact. That is a fact. So let's get on that, man. Soldier Denise Williamson, shout out Michelle, man. Hoover, hey. All right now. He said, I know Cuse is one of the realest and is an OG to us all. Yeah, Cuse has, I talked to the brother, man, and I just listen, man. I'm fascinated. I sit down, man, and talk to the brother, and we don't talk about past stuff. You know what I mean? That stuff that gets you in trouble type, conversations. We don't do that. We talk about progression, man. We're talking about, okay, what is it that we can do? How can we contribute to changing the direction, to changing the paradigm, man, that, we all see and exist in, So that's why I enjoy talking to him. It's like talking to Joe, man, in a lot of respects. Ain't on no funny stuff, It's not on no funny stuff. I think, he, like a lot of us, man, we view each other, with like a great love and understanding. You know what I mean? And we, and they are trying to extend like this love and understanding to the general Black population. That's something that they stay on, man. They speak in unity. They speak love, They speak, hey, man, let's do what we need to do to improve ourselves. This is what these brothers do. And under the groove, man, look, the thing about us is, we differ from other platforms simply because, man, look, we understand the system. I'm not going to say better. You know what I mean? That would be, I think kind of taking a shot at somebody. But I think that we understand the system to such an extent that where, we want to see our community do better in spite of the system, in spite of everything that the system puts before us to make us fall back or to make us digress. You know what I mean? Most platforms, they do what they do because that's what they want to do. That's not to say they don't understand the system, but just think for a minute. If they understand the system and yet they're doing what they're doing, what does that say about them? Our realization is that, man, we're just trying to we're attempting, man, to, form a strong community base. That's all, man. We just want to, form a strong community base where brothers and sisters can have dialogue, start communicating, have conversations, and from that grow as people. From that, hopefully connect and grow as a unit. That's the whole get out. That's the get out, So that being said, man, like I said, there's no love lost, man. There's no love lost. People do what they do, and at some point, hopefully, people will wake up. Like I said, for me, it took some time, but I'm here. I'm here, and I'm grateful for the fact that I made it. let's hope that, that same get down, man, affects those that need to be affected, and that they start to do things, differently, differently, you know. So, okay, y'all up in the get down, man. Shema Israel, 12 tribes worldwide, shalom to my people. You dig? And still smooth grooving. H's. Okay, got that crown, man, and that that seven candle. Oh my God, I forget the name of it. Tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I see you though, brother. I see you. Hey, Frederick Hasby, man, where you been, man? How have you been? All right, good to see you in the chat, bro. Black people to participate in jury duty. Stop letting others decide our fate. Then we complain about being railroaded. That makes me think about some stuff, man. Um, it's crazy, man, how we act or how we tend to treat one another. And I think I lit on this last week. We quick to trip on one another, man, but we give these other people passes. We tend to agree with them even when what they're talking about is against us and wrong. We tend to, like, just want to fit in. It's like we want to assimilate so bad, man, that we'll sell our souls, man, just to be accepted by people that don't want to accept us, that people that, give a damn about you. It's crazy how we do each other as opposed to how we do others. Hopefully that one day change as well. I think that should be on the agenda, man. How do we get to the point where we start to treat each other better than we treat others? That's some serious stuff, man. Let's think about that. Focus on the focus. That's one of the issues we face. Several generations of Black folks started forsaking our responsibility to educate our youth with the real. Again, that's the main thing. I think a lot of what we do, how we think, why we speak the way we do, and why we act the way we act is because we've been miseducated. That's my take on it. I don't necessarily, I don't say, I'm not going to say that's my opinion. Those are facts. Those are facts. Again, we're quick to defend others before we, love and support and defend ourselves. I was thinking about how, we got this issue just recently, and I didn't want to really address it, but I have to say, it's a lot of us out here, man. We'll go to war for a street. We don't own nothing on this street, but we got babies, man, in the streets, and we don't protect them with the same energy, with the same get down, the same, hey man, I'll do anything for my set, but you're not saying I'll do anything for my babies, my daughters. People taking our daughters, man, and abusing them, putting them out there, man. And brothers, fathers, and brothers and uncles won't go to bat for these sisters, and man, shit, for real. Get at those who are exposing and exploiting, our sisters, man. I'm gonna just say that, and I'm gonna leave it alone. But like I say, brothers are quick to defend the street while their sister is on them same streets, walking up and down the streets, man, being exploited. Y'all ain't putting on no work for that. Some crazy stuff, man. Again, we are miseducated. We've been miseducated, and I think that's the main problem. We got a whole lot of funny shit going on in the families, man, with one another and the whole nine, man. That, a lot of times I think families take that to be taboo in terms of speaking about it, speaking out on it, and dealing with it. But we have to get to the point, man, where we start defending our people, man, our women especially, the same way we would defend a street we don't own. Something to think about, man. Something to think about, man. Yeah, so I see you out responding to what Focus said, which is some real spit, man. Lack of education, man. It's a lack of education. But like I say, you guys, we got these people coming. Donald Trump done already set it in motion. And I don't necessarily believe that what happened or transpired in the last week in the community had anything to do with that per se. That was something they was building on for the last few years. What they're talking about doing now is this is like, hey, let's do this right now. We didn't seen enough. We didn't had enough of these people in these slums, robbing and jacking and murdering people. Man, enough's enough. We're gonna show them who's boss. They're gonna show you. Now you ain't gotta listen to those who telling you guys, hey man, get ready. In fact, you ain't gotta get ready, man. Fall back, man. Figure out something else to do, because in this game and in what we're doing and how a lot of you guys are carrying on the streets, you're not gonna win. That's not a win-win right there. That is not a win-win. So just think about that, man. Think about that. Okay, hold on. I want to see this conversation. Okay, that was Frederick Hasby made a statement, and I'll respectfully get in there, man. Again, this is people touching bases with the people, and like I say, it can't get no better than this. It's organic. These are the discussions I think are worthwhile having. We're not in here talking about who beat up who did that. None of that matters. It really doesn't. What these brothers are discussing right now matters. They'll get to the crux of the issue between themselves, because the discussion is built like that. You could tell. A lot of respect in this. Get down. All right, I see you, Comedic. Comedic, I see you, man. I like that statement, bro. Kim means black, Ra means light. So the light within the black man would Ra in Kemet or chemistry with light. Mm-hmm. All right, that's something to really chew on right there. You're gonna have brothers going grabbing them texts, man, them books, man. It's gonna really break down Kemet and everything else, so they can get a grander understanding, man. To speak, not only speak your speak, but understand it so that they can. Man, Kemet means black. Now, those who know. I think that discussion, man, could be had this way also. So when a lot of let's say Greek scholars were writing, and they weren't really scholars, they were students of Kemet, for real. The way they wrote things, you know what I mean? It almost left a situation or impression where it could be interpreted, differently than what it really actually was. You know what I mean? When Homer or Aristotle or any of them wrote about Kemet, they wrote about it in how Europeans write about, blackness, or Kemet, or that whole continent and how it was getting down. And that's not necessarily, it would not have been necessarily the correct way, because again, they had little understanding. They had to go there to get it, So to really express to their people, that understanding about that, they probably had to live there for the rest of their lives in order to convey what the word really meant. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there, man. I'm not saying that was the case. I'm just saying, man, their interpretation of it could have, it could be the reason why there's a lot of misunderstanding, not just, with us to some degree, but with them when they're talking about Kemet. What was it? Was it the land of the blacks? Was it the soil, or was it the people themselves? You know what I mean? So you got to be mindful of that, man. You have to be mindful of that. Europeans' interpretation of us, man, is way off in terms of what we know it to be. That's just, those are facts. There are facts, man. But that also that interpretation is biased in a lot of ways, you know. They'll tell it differently, you know, because they understand if they told it correctly, the damage it could do to them and theirs. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, to my core, I think they do a lot of what they do purposely, because it actually takes from, if they gave it out uncut and it ain't watered down, that would be a blow. That would be a blow to any establishment or other race of people that wanted to confess or profess that they were the ones superior, you know, or supreme, you know, over anybody. You know, it would dismantle that whole argument. So, you know, a lot of them when they wrote, and even to this day when they write, they do it in such a way to water down the authenticity of what we really are, what we really represent, what we come from. You know, it's more detrimental to them for us to understand this stuff, you know. And then again, we're getting our lessons from them. How backwards is that when they got it from us, you know? So yeah, you brothers, I'm pretty sure y'all gonna reach a conclusion, agreement or whatever on that one. That's something worth discussing though. Look at that going in too. Beautiful, man. Focus on the focus, y'all. Okay, Polk said, okay. Polk said, Joe and Cutes, that would be a classroom to be in, 100. Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that, speaking of Joe, again, man, Under the Groove we do not participate in the BS. You know, we're like Cutes and a lot of others, Joe, a lot of other brothers, man, who are solid. We call a ball, a strike, you know, a duck is a duck, and a spade is a spade. When we see certain things, you know, for the most part, we want to not indulge or get caught up in the rhetoric, man, you know, because I think to some extent that's the purpose, you know, to get us to come out of ourselves, man, and speak on something to give it validity, you know. Joe, there was an expose just done on Joe. Warren Cali did some on Joe the other day. Yeah, man, that's so off base. It's so off base. And understanding that, excuse me, he attempted to use stuff that I'm pretty sure he went and looked at on Arget Out Under the Groove to put together this expose, this script. And still you got it wrong. Still got it wrong. Let's say that. Another thing is the title. You're like the police. You're accusing somebody of something when it should always be mentioned or said alleged. You know, alleged. You know, just because someone's convicted of something, that don't mean that they committed that crime. You know, it's alleged. You know, this brother's working to get out, man, based upon the inaccuracies and, the unlawful prosecution, man, that went down, man. So I'm only saying that to say, man, when we speaking on brothers, man, especially brothers who are in a situation they're trying to extract themselves from because right is on their side, help them, don't harm them. You know, try to help them. Try to help them. You know, it's funny that there's no mention of the prosecutor or the police, and going back looking at their records because it's public knowledge too, whether they've been uh, uh, been scrutinized for misconduct or whatever the case may be. But there's no mention of that. You know, a lot of DAs do it, but it's public record. A lot of DAs, they do sideways and foul shit. Police do it. We know that, but there's no mention of who the detective was, or how he went about his case, what his record was like, none of that. There's no mention of that. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying, man. There's no, you want to do something of that nature, man, some of that magnitude. Be all inclusive. You know, put the limelight on everybody. You know, shine a light on everybody, man. Don't for hits and clicks and likes. Go out there and go after this situation like that, man. And you wasn't even there. You didn't sit in the trial. I'm pretty sure. You didn't go research who the DA was, where they come from, how they came up, how many cases they won, lost, how crooked they were trying to get convictions or whatever the case may be, man. There's no mention of that. You want to be level handed, man. You want to be even handed when you do that type of stuff, bro. That's all I'm suggesting. All right. But that said, man, I'm going to move on, man. You know, we're really up against it, man. And the cold part about it is we're against each other more than we are for one another. Gotta make some changes, you brothers. Gotta make some changes. Got to make some changes. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on that one, and hopefully we can make that happen. I was expressing or sharing with you guys last week and the last few weeks how difficult it is to get Joe on the get out, and I don't know if that's something they're doing inside where they're preventing us from connecting. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense that he and I have always had issues connecting. I don't know. I don't know how to explain or express that one, but you guys are suggesting to have Cutes and Joe in there, man, would be a good look. So we're going to see if we can try to figure out a way to make that happen. Bring it to the people. Bring it to the people. And to listen to these two brothers talk about positivity, to talk about prosperity and posterity, to talk about productivity and the people would be some powerful, man. It would be a powerful dialogue. It would be a powerful dialogue. So let's put that one in the atmosphere, man. Let's see if we can't make that happen. Let's see what kind of results we can get from the people who listen to this get out. Let's see if some minds can be changed, some directions, man, altered. Let's see if we can't bring something new to the table for the people, man, because we're in dire need of something new. We are in dire need of something new. All right. All right. I see you, Chris. 223. Good to see you back in the get down, brother. As always, he says dysfunction values. I agree with you on that, Al Thomas. We are lifelong learners. I've said this before and I mean it. To the day I die, I'll be learning. I will be learning something every day to the day I die. So that means we'll be students to the day we die. Now, students of what? That's for us to determine. A lot of us, we choose to learn some of the stuff. We choose to learn things that shouldn't be learned. You know what I mean? We're all guilty of that. But there comes a point in our lives where we can decide to learn the things that have value and merit, that are morally right. You know what I mean? Those are the lessons we should be seeking, education, rightfully so, education. Always want to educate ourselves, man, because without it, like I say, man, anything can be said to us and done to us. And if we're not educated, man, there'd be nothing we can do to prevent that from going on, Yeah, so let's get into that, man. Donald Matthews, I see you, man. And I appreciate that you love that we're educating our young, man. But really, we're just trying to educate the people, no matter what level of age group. You know what I mean? It's for the people, man. We got to get this knowledge to the people, man, especially of self. And then we got to get to them, and we need education. We've been miseducated. So we have to start speaking truth to power about those two things, man. Who we are as individuals. And then, we get that understanding. We know who we are as people, as a people. One. We need that education though, bro. He said it's our responsibility to help ourselves as a people, to teach ourselves to love and respect each other and get rid of this Willie Lynch syndrome. Speak truth to power. All right, now. I see you, bro. Socrates, that was the guy. Socrates, man. All right. The victors write the history. Facts. All right. Yoma Shakim Ra says, peace, OG. Have you read the book called Uragul by Marimba Ani? No, I have not. No, I have not. And what does the book entail? What is it about, brothers? Put something in the chat to give us an idea. You gave us the name of the book. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna somebody I know is then wrote that book and went and looked in Amazon or wherever to see if we can get that book. You know, I'm always open, man, to new literature, especially literature I've never read or have not read. All right. So appreciate that shout out, man. Is it political? Is it historical? Is it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is it about the people? What is it about, man? Give us a brief synopsis, if you can, a description of what the book is about. But whether you do or not, I'll know before the day is out. So I appreciate you coming in, man, and sharing that with us, bro. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. See, you brothers, see, this is what I'm talking about. You brothers got, and I said this last week, and I didn't mince no words. I didn't feel, I tended not to be in my feelings. I didn't think nothing of it when I said there are brothers in this chat who are highly intelligent, know they stuff. These are the brothers, man, we're trying to tap in with, man. These are the people that we think, should be in this chat, man, to dispense this, understand this knowledge, man, that we need, that we're lacking. That includes myself. Again, I just said, I'm going to learn until the day I die. All right. Prime example right there. But we have brothers like yourselves, man, in this get down, ain't no dummies, man. Far from them, far from them. I think, though, the issue is, what do we do with the knowledge or education we obtain that we get? How do we utilize it? What do we do with it? A lot of us, we get it, we understand what it is, and yet we still complain. We don't involve ourselves in those issues or, those things, those people who need our involvement, who need, your structuring, so, it's one thing, man. I said, and we all say this, I'm pretty sure. It's one thing to have knowledge or, to have education. It's another to utilize it. They're two different things, bro. We can have knowledge or knowledge you won't. It only matters when we utilize it. We can be educated, man, to the tilt, to the hilt. It only matters if that education is being utilized to such a point, man, where you are beyond, well, for one, you're sharing it, you're dispensing it where it needs to be. And you're utilizing it to such a degree to where, hey, man, it shows in not just how you live, but how you think, speak, and carry yourself, So let's get that understanding, man. Well, Austin, and I beg to disagree. If you listen to the conversation where Joe grew up at, how he grew up, who raised him, that came from under the groove. I mean, he had never type that, please. You distracted me. But that came from this get out, I don't recall ever Joe speaking that on anyone's platform, how he grew up. his situation in the home, who raised him, those, those sorts of things. That was strictly on Under the Groove, bro. You know, that was strictly on Under the Groove. When no, you talking about the case. In the case, the news clippings, again, man, you know, um, that came from police records, So if you're gonna do that, man, you know, you should be more thorough. That's all I'm saying, bro. You know, that's all I'm saying. Damn fake news. Go to the source. Go to the source. You want to be in this space, and most of us, we don't want to admit it, or, want to carry that mantle or that title. Most of us attempt to be, we want to be, or we try to be journalists. We want to speak, truth to power. We want to be, the ones that have to say, the ones who want to have something to say, and we want it to be validated. We want it to be, accepted as truth. So if that's the case, then I'm just saying, man, hey, if you're going to do that like that, go all in, man. Go all in. Go all in. Let's not just talk about who snitched and who did this. And, what about the DA and the police? Who are they? Who are they? Have they ever been involved in you railroading brothers? Putting cases on brothers? I'm just saying, man. That's all I was saying, Austin. I wasn't, I wasn't, like I said, man, I don't take pop shots for nothing, bro. I really don't, But if we're going to be in this space, and I said this again last week, then we have a responsibility, man, to be in this space correctly. We don't have, we should not be in this space. We should know better if we're in this space in terms of what's going to hurt and what's going to help. Too many brothers are in this space to hurt. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. All right. Anyway, hey, Lisa, how you doing? Lisa Moore back, y'all. She says, in the Black community, we're missing love and respect for one another. Once we gain that respect, then we can teach one another. If not, it's like talking to a brick wall. Okay. Me and Cuse were talking about the youngs and why, or if that's the real issue, why they don't listen. What's the reason? And he was saying it's more of a communication thing. We haven't learned to communicate on the level that they're used to communicating. You know what I mean? They talk differently, and what they say means different things. They attach an emotion that's different than the emotion we attach to words and how we describe what we're going through. It's a different thing. We got a lot at play. Drugs are different. Everything is different, man. A lot of these young brothers and sisters, came up, or came from parents who are on drugs. They came in drug infested community households and communities, been those in drugs. These, just the trauma of witnessing whatever they've witnessed could be the reason, But I know, in spite of all that, we still have an obligation to try to reach them. We just got to figure out, man, what road, what avenue, what tact do we use to reach these brothers and sisters? And then again, like I say, we're not going to reach everybody all the time. But if we are willing to do the work, we're going to reach one. Come on, better than nothing, better than no one. You know what I mean? So we're trying to find, man, our young leaders, man. We're trying to find a way to get to them, man, because they're out there. They're out there. They lost just like a whole lot of us were. They are lost, and it took for a whole lot of us to have to go through, what they say, in order to get to something, you have to go through something, A lot of us that went through something, man. That's why we are where we are now. We had to learn the hard way. But I also think that that can be avoided by a lot of, young brothers and sisters. A lot of them don't have to go through that. See, in our case, a lot of our big homies and homegirls, whatever, hey, man, they were locked away. You know, um, there was no structure. We didn't have what a lot of homies have now, especially young ones. We didn't have dudes saying, "Hey, man, okay, I get it. I understand the tribe." You know, but here's the reality: they ain't had that, man. Well, we didn't have that. They have it. So the fact of the matter that we're here, a lot of us are here, and we're able to speak truth to power. We're able to say, "Hey, man, look here. This is the issue. That's the issue. Here's the concern. How do we go about doing it?" The fact that we have people like that in it, like that, means then we got to, hey, man, we got to keep pushing, whether we think we're making headway or not. We know what's on this road. We know. A lot of us are fortunate just to be here. Again, we didn't have them this. We didn't have this. So there are a lot of unfortunate brothers and sisters as a result of not having this who aren't here. We are here to do the work, man. We got to understand why we're here, man. We got to accept that. Ain't just because I'm saying it or any brother in the chat is saying it or any other platform is saying it. The reality is, man, we have an obligation, man, to take care of our own. And that means if you're taking care of your son and your daughter, your niece or your nephew, your little cousin, that means, man, they're getting something. And guess what? They're going to be able to share something with somebody else. You're taking care of your own. Each one will teach one. Think about that. Think about that, man. We are here for a reason. And it is not as selfish as a lot of us think it is. A lot of us think we're here for selfish reasons. It really ain't it, man. It really ain't it. We're not here for that. And because I say that, don't make it so. I'm saying that because, we all come from the same thing. A lot of us got here because of those who came before us. All right. And again, a lot of us who are here talking now, they could have been dead decades ago. There was somebody that hollered at us. There was a situation that set us straight, man. It's the reason why we're here. And if we're set properly, if we're set, we are erect in our get out and everything else, we know what our goal or what our objective is, what our duties and obligation is. That's to look out for the people. That's to try to assure that they don't go through the shit we went through, man. Because we know that's some foul stuff. A lot of us, we landed ourselves in these situations. But the game is rigged as such, the way we find ourselves in situations. But if you're obligated and you're obligated, do the work, man. Do the work. Okay, so Yama Shakim Ra says Urugu is, or he's expressing what the contents of this book is. He says an African-centered critique of European cultural thought and behavior. I dare to say is what we're exemplifying. We exhibit in a lot of ways, man, European culture, thought, and behavior. We want to say we got our own culture. Okay, yeah, but there's a lot about our culture, man, that is being, especially now, infused with European thought and culture. But again, a lot of us, we think and we act like Europeans. That's the assimilation aspect of it. So yeah, I'm gonna check that book out, man. I got to look at that book. And it makes me think, being that you just mentioned that critique of European cultural thought and behavior. So I was watching the Get Down with Trump, uh, Zelensky, Macron, Mertz, and the other guy from Great Britain, and the lady from Italy. If you guys don't listen to these discussions, y'all gonna miss it. Y'all gonna miss it. Y'all gonna miss it. You guys thinking, look, man, what's going on in the world is very significant, I think. And I think this way because the Europeans are in a position now to where, for whatever reason, they want to label it or claim it to be Africa's waking up, right? So Africa's saying now to them, nah, you know what? Y'all not going to just get to take our resources no more. So they're feeling that pinch. Trust that. They're feeling that pinch. Now, the discussion, I think, actually centers around unity in Europe, because I think, and this is all I'm trying to say to us as a people, as a unified front, we're going to get more done. Now you're talking about a power block. Now you're talking about, we can make demands, and if need be, we could push a line. If y'all listen to that conversation from yesterday, I think it was, these Europeans are saying, okay, man, yeah, enough's enough. Okay, Russia, whatever, but we got to get our shit together, because the world, is our oyster. That's what I think they're saying. And we got to get control back over our oyster. These people are about to come together, man, in ways we can't fathom. Not only that, but Africa better watch out. They better get ready, because they're going to push a line on them. They're going to find a reason. They're going to take the uranium, the gold, the platinum, the oil, anything that fuels and, propels and, keeps their societies going, that comes from Africa, that's always come from Africa for the longest time. They finna gonna take that. Damn your sovereignty. But they have to be unified. They not just doing this, man, to be doing this, man. They have a plan, man. And they're gonna exercise that plan before the year is up. They're gonna find a way to make peace with Russia, and okay, we just gonna leave Russia in the corner, leave them alone. But now we got our shit together, let's go get our shit back. Those resources they need. But I think we're in no different position, except that, okay, we don't have money and power like that, or structure like that, but we have us. We have us. There's the power. There's our wealth. The sooner we realize it, the better. They already know what we don't. If we were to come together, that shit they talking about wouldn't mean jack. They have some real live problems. They'd have some real live problems. Black folks coming together is something, hey, man, that would destroy them. But anyway, I kind of digressed there, man, but he made me think about that when you mentioned the critique of European cultural thought and behavior. It's just a matter of time for they show you how they really behave as a unit. They did it earlier on, but that's coming back. Colonialism is coming back. Trust. Yeah, bro, we got to get in this thing, man. All right, Kendrick Coleman, he said, OG Bubs, up, man? Homie Groove's tapping in from Texas. I promise you will have a brother thinking. Hey, man, that's it, man. See, brothers got me to thinking. My situation got me to thinking. A lot of us need to ask ourselves, man, do we like how we living? Do we like our lives? Do we love our lives? Do we love how we're living? I'm willing to wager, man, 99% of us would, if they told the truth, be like, no. Okay. So that's the first thing we have to do. Acknowledge that, man. Okay, we not just disgruntled, but we recognize that we're not living worth a damn. That's the first thing, the first step. The second would be, okay, how do I change the situation? What do brothers like yourself and me need to start rethinking how we living, to how improve the lives we live? Yeah, it's about having brothers think and think wisely, but think to the point where we start acting on those thoughts, especially when we know that they're positive and productive. They're gonna get the job done, man. If they're positive and productive, then prosperity is gonna follow. That's what it is, man. Yeah, we want to have brothers thinking. I want to have you brothers have me thinking. What can I bring to the table that's different, that's gonna help the brothers and sisters, man? Like I say, it's just it would be so easy for me to go in and start tripping like everybody else on this BS that we see every day. That's some simple stuff, man. And sad to say, if I did that, I'd be viral every day. 50, 60, 100,000, likes and shares and, 300,000 subscriptions, you know what I'm saying? But at what cost? What cost? So we need to start thinking more, and we need stuff like this. We need chats like this where brothers are sitting up talking about knowledge, man, talking about education, talking about self. How do we propel ourselves from this rut we're in? How do we get up from the dirt, man? I always said, and I'm going to keep saying it, communication first. We have to start communicating. We have to start looking at each other differently so that we can speak to each other with respect. It's a must. It's a must. If not, we're not going nowhere, man. When I'm dead and gone, this shit going to be on such a level to where it's going to be so much different. It's going to be worse, So we have to start communicating. So Frederick Hasby says you can't communicate because we don't relate. How you express that? Break that down for me, brother, because I have a different view on that. I don't know. You said the little homies feel we sold drugs and effed over their family, so the respect is lost. Yeah, but these are the same homies that's repping the same shit. That they fought for, the dysfunction in their lives, in their family lives, but it's the same stuff. So you can't, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. You can't have it both ways. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. You just can't. I think first brothers have to communicate, hey man, we effed up. In a real sense, there's no denying that. And then saying, hey, what can I do? Not saying it, but figuring it out. Having these discussions in terms of figuring it out, what can be done different? How can we help those who are going through what we went through, who are doing the same thing, selling drugs to people's mamas and daddies, hoeing out their daughters and stuff. Real stuff, man. We can't. We have to stop criticizing the same shit we're doing, man. It doesn't make sense. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. But I get your point. Yeah, there's an anger and there's a disdain, a lack of respect there for cats and, individuals who've done all the stuff that they're living through now. Yeah. At some point, man, we got to get to, we have to get over that to have discussions. We have to get to, okay, how can we improve our relations? How can we get to what can we bring to the table to help you to relate that, what you're going through here is a result of what we went through and what we caused, man, but still, you're doing no better. How do we change the mindset? Same mindset, bro. It's the same mindset. Donald Matthews said, man, in my humble opinion, Cutes is right. Talk to them instead of at them. Lead by example. Show and teach how to lead and think correctly. Just like we taught them how to bang, teach them how to think. Hey, Q said it, Joe said it, a lot of us say it. You know, we have to be an example. We have to be the example. Even when sometimes when we think people ain't paying attention, that's especially when we got to keep doing what we're doing. Because if it's real, you solid about it, man. You're not worried about, man, you're going to do what you're supposed to be doing. And you're doing it because it's the right thing, not necessarily because you're trying to get attention. You know what I mean? But yeah, we have to live by example. I don't disagree with you. TIOGD I'm trying to say that. I hate butchering people's names. This is New Guinea. Anyway, he says, salute, man. I've been studying and analyzing European colonialism since the 90s when Chirac, Cole, Sani Abacha, Mandela, Gaddafi, Hussein, Turabi, they haven't changed. Chirac which was Iraq. Cole, Sani Abacha. Yeah, and there's nothing changed. They're working from the same playbook. Excuse me, y'all. Nothing's changed, man. It's the same playbook. Even with us, it's the same playbook. Same thing. Okay, Donald says, Black people, we need to understand who we are and our rightful place in the world and move as a unit. Again, though, the reason why we're in this position, the reason why we don't understand is because of miseducation, bro. We were not properly educated. Why would the master educate me? You know what I mean? Why would he educate me with truth, especially of self? Wouldn't that make him powerless? Wouldn't he lose power? But would he gain power rather than expose to me my real history and who I am, but keep that from me and put in place of who I am and what where I come from? Those who are not like me and all their accomplishments and, conquering, whatever the case may be, in terms of how they got the power they got. Wouldn't it make sense to give me their history instead of my own? There's the problem. Again, it's just really about being miseducated. It's intentional. There's none of us, man, who went through any public school and we were taught something about our people other than slavery. They talked about white inventions that really weren't even white inventions. We know about Henry Ford, man, but come to find out, Henry Ford stole the assembly line idea and the concept for the Model T. But they're not going to tell us what we need to know. That would be detrimental to them. Again, man, we're in this position not by mistake. It's not by mistake, bro. Now, we know most of what has transpired in the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 700, in the last millennium. And yet, what have we done with that knowledge? That education. See, nothing. It's almost as I try to think before I speak, but I'm gonna say this: it's like we've been defeated, we've been broken, man, and we have to find a way to mend ourselves, man. Put us back together, man. They broke us. We don't even know, man, that we ran the world. We don't even know it. Let them tell it, man, from kindergarten to college. They created all this stuff. They are the ones. They are superior to everyone. And it's only right that we are inferior. And so that's the jacket we wear. We wear a jacket of inferiority, man. That's as a result, though, of being miseducated. But again, at what point do we stop saying, okay, man, this, that, and the third, and start educating ourselves? Because the knowledge is there. Our ability to be re-educated is there. But there's so much, man, up against us, man. Social media is the teacher now. I can't begin to tell you how much miseducation is in there, man. Kids don't even go to school no more. They rather watch social media. That's where they get their knowledge from. That's where they're educated. And most of the education they're getting from it, I don't even want to call it that, but I just use it for lack of a better term. It's garbage. There's nothing educational about it. Nothing. I don't know, man. So, it ain't just the fact that we need to understand who we are, man. It's the fact that we have to first accept that we need to be re-educated so that we know without a doubt who we are. That we get the real knowledge of who we are, that education, that would boost us, man, as individuals and as a unit. That would boost us, man, worldwide. It's stuff laying in the cut that we have to reclaim. We'll never reclaim it as long as we continue to be miseducated, as long as we continue to live in this state of ignorance. We'll never get it. We'll never get what's rightfully ours. And there's stuff in the cut they got to give you, but you got to be educated. You got to know why it's yours. There's a lot going on, man. A lot of stuff we say, man, I agree with, but a lot of stuff at the same time we have to let go of because that's part of the teaching. That's part of the education. Their education, their way of educating us. We regurgitate their shit. Most of us do each other worse in this Willie Lynch mentality than they do. You know what I mean? No clans, that we know of, it may still happen, kill brothers. We know for a fact, brothers kill more brothers than anybody. More than the police. Why is that? You want to say because I'm from here and he from there? Or you want to say because he sold my mama drugs, my daddy drugs? It's bigger than that, man. But we have to acknowledge that. And we have to start dealing with the facts. Again, I'm not saying, hey, man, let's go complain to some, because no, man, we already know what that is. We've been knowing. Nah, we have to start studying and analyzing. We have to re-educate ourselves, man. We have to want to aspire to be more than a game banker, a rapper, a dope dealer, a pimp, football player, some type of athlete or entertainer, As long as we allow ourselves to remain in these trick bags, man, nothing's going to change. Those are facts. Everybody will aspire to want to be the gatekeeper, the one to run lord over his own people, but nobody else. That's it. We're not gonna we're not gonna find our rightful place in the world, man, until we re-educate ourselves. That's it. And they gonna make sure that you don't. Re-educate yourself or be re-educated. 4-5, the left sider. Appreciate you tapping in, bro. Come on in here with something positive, man. I don't know if you just tapping in. Appreciate that, man. So S asks, What's your thoughts on the Fed shutting down FIG, OG? You really don't know. You really don't want to know. Shut it down. Shut it down, man. And shut anything that's like it down. You know? Real spit, man. Real spit. Shut it down, man. You know? Nah. Nah. Shut it down, man. Well, that's just what I got to say about that. You know, shut it down. But see, we shouldn't have to have the feds come to our community. If we were educated, you know, if we knew better, if we did better, we know better. If we did better, feds wouldn't have to come do that. We wouldn't need somebody to come police our communities. Straight up, man. Facts. Police ourselves. And we ain't even got to use that terminology. We answer to ourselves. You know? You don't need that. Because with that, them coming, it's gonna be a whole lot falling. You know? It's gonna be a tail, man. It's gonna be a tail that's following that dog. And it's gonna be wagging and swiping and knocking over everything. Come on, man. You know, shit. Nah. Yeah, shut it down, man. But we should be the ones doing that. We should be the ones doing that. Mothers and fathers, brothers, uncles, aunties. You know, no, man, this our corner. You know, this our corner. Anybody stopping to get out of here. Straight up, man. Police our own stuff. Create a website where anybody want to stop and pick up a hooker, a prostitute, license plate, get his face and post that. You know, we don't need the feds to come do that. You know, fact of the matter is they come and they start arresting these sisters and brothers, man, it's a wrap. None of them will get the help they need. Nobody will really understand why they do what they do. You know, it's just a whole lot of mess attached to it, man. You know, but if we were a community, we can go and do that ourselves. You know, all these nonprofits and stuff, man, existing, and none of them are catered to that issue that the kids got to see or end up being a part of. I don't know, man. It's a whole lot of shit, man, we could be talking about, man, for real. You know, but yeah, my answer to that is, yeah, shut it down. I just think that, man, I wish that we had the wherewithal to do it ourselves. And we're not looking for no kudos from nobody's authority or no agency, government, nothing to say, hey, great job. You just no, man, that ain't for y'all. You know what I mean? Shit. That's what I say to that, bro. All right, Austin, Texas, 21, man. You be careful out there, man. You know, bring positivity, man. Prosperity, posterity, you know, productivity to the people. When you out there, man, them, you know, and that get down, bro. Take care of yourself, man. If you do that right, you'll take care of everybody else around you, bro. Love you, homie. All right. So E says, honestly, in the big picture, it may be a little too late when it comes to conflict. We really won't stand a chance. We struggle to protect the street that we don't own. But, you know, there's a whole lot of better late than never, man. It ain't never, you cannot say it's ever too late, bro. Just can't. You know, because if you succumb to that, if you subscribe to that way of thinking, then you lost. We lost. Yeah, that means then you don't want to do nothing about it because you already feel it's a lost cause. And if you feel that way and somebody's seeing you feel that way or hearing you speak that way, now you're giving them the same thing, the same impression. So we're passing on this mindset or this ideal that, oh man, it's a waste of time. All right. And I ask this, I say this often, will it be if it was one of yours? If it happened to one of yours, then what? Then what would you say then? How would you think about that then? How would you deal with it then? Would you say, damn, man, I could have done something. I could have got more involved. But I said, nah, it's a waste of time. We gotta stop thinking like that, man. That's part of the problem. We thinking in that defeatism mentality, like, man, ain't nothing we can do about it, man. It is what it is, No, man, stop that. Stop that, bro. Nah, it's not a waste of time, man. You know, that means you giving up on brothers and sisters who looking to be helped. They're looking for someone to say, man, yeah, you're worth the time. How long it take? It can't be a waste of time, bro. We can't think like that, man. So Donald Matthews said, we don't relate because we choose not to, but we all come from the same mud. How can we not understand our own polite? And I'm reading like, how can we not understand our own polite, or let's say people? We need to take actions and work with our young. Real shit. Real shit. We got to do the work, man. Again, man, and I say this, a lot of people, a lot of us say this. Yeah, man, sometimes it's easier said than done, And sometimes the easiest thing to do is to not do nothing. But the hardest thing to do, man, is to put this work in, man. Because it all seems like it's for a lost cause. See, that's how hard it is. That's how much time it's gonna take. That's how deep it is, man. It's a damn over, uphill battle. This is like trying to go around the world 3-4 times, man. You ain't climbing up no hill, man. This is some worldly shit that we got to go through. It's gonna take some time, but it's gonna take conviction and commitment, man. And again, man, the only way we're gonna get to that point is we have to educate ourselves to know why we doing this, man. What's the reason? What's the cause? Who is it for? See, because if you're thinking about yourself, yeah, man, okay, boom. You're like, oh, I'm good. There it is. As long as you all right, right? As long as you all right, right? Come on, man. It's bigger than us, man. Me, you, him, her. It's bigger than us, man. It's us. I looked at the thing, some statistics the other day. I couldn't believe it. That we are only 13% of the population. 13% of the population. And yet, our culture run everything. Our culture makes billions. I'm gonna go on trillions. Our culture, 13%. Everybody do what we do, say what we say. Now they're getting to the point where they want to think how we think or think they can think like we think. You know what I mean? It's changing the world, our culture. And yet, we reap none of what the world gets from our culture. We gets nothing. 13%, man. And that's of the United States. 13%. We fuel the economy. Yeah, look at us, man. We ain't got shit. We got animosity and anger towards one another. It don't pay no rent. it help you start a business. You know what I mean? How much land you got? You know, we want to hurry up and go buy some gold, a car that you got to live in, or while you living with your mama. You know, you ain't got a speck of land. You waiting on GR, you waiting on the BEBT card. I don't know what the hell going on, but there's a lot of funny shit going on. I'm saying, man, we are only 13% of this population, man, and yet our culture fuels this economy. Have a lot to do with it. I mean that, man. But we gets none of that. Mm. Let's see if we can't make it make sense, man. Let's see if we can't make it make sense. I don't care about what we shouldn't care about what these other people are doing on these platforms, man. We should already know that it does no good to the community. We already have enough problems. It's as if they trying to spur this shit on, man, trying to create havoc and chaos. To what end? To whose benefit? To whose benefit? They in it just like that. And you can't tell them no different. You cannot. They are convinced that they get in the bag. Some of them have greater goals. They want to be gatekeepers. You know, they want to be them. You know, and yet, man, they people got nothing. No unity, first and foremost. Well, no education, first and foremost. No unity. You know, it seems as if they have no goals. Like we have no goals. We have no unity. We have no education, no unity, and supposedly no goals. Why are they trying to run shit then? Why do they want to be the gatekeepers? Why do they want to be the ones always out there on these get downs, man, dispensing crap? A few of them bold enough to tell you the bag. And again, uh, what kind of bag you talking about? What kind of bag you talking about, man? You know, just like I don't know, man. You know, yeah, everything ain't for everybody. You know, and I imagine some would say that. You know, should they or if they respond. Well, I don't choose to do that. I choose to do this, man, and I'm got money in my pocket. I'm feeding my baby. You know, you come up with all kind of excuses. You know what I'm saying? Now and again, let's just pray. You know, powers to the powers that be, that all this stuff that is being propagated in social media don't touch your baby. Don't get a hold of your baby. I'm willing to wager though, some of y'all might not give a damn. It ain't you. I'm just saying, man. You know, I'm just saying. Al Thomas said we have to take the reins and be our children's nieces, nephews, and even grandparents' first educator. We have to educate the people first, man. Without it, their overstanding still will not exist, man. They will not get it. They will not get it. We have to be re-educated, man. Each and every one of us, man. Even me, even Al. There's a whole lot we need to be educated on and about, especially dealing with ourselves, so that we know how to deal with our people. Help them to educate or be educated, you know? SBC 5259. Okay, and he says, now that's honest and real. That's what needed. Because don't nobody outside LA know LA better than an honest, real LA brother or sister. You know, I think that, yeah, that's real spit, man, but that goes for wherever any of us are, wherever we are. That's what that but no matter where we are, we have an obligation to do what we don't need nobody else doing that or helping us do nothing. I don't care where you are, and man, we see it. Yeah, man, just said we have to be the educators. So these sisters and brothers in this situation, man, they have to be educated. They have to be helped. Education is also a facilitator. It helps, it assists, it supports. It does a lot of things. Education, a good education, a real one, go a long way. But no matter where we are, and we're dealing with situations or circumstances that affect our communities, man, we have an obligation, responsibility, man, to address that. Just real spit. Real spit. That go to the drug dealers as well. Not just the prostitutes and the pimps. I don't care where we are, man. We have an obligation, not them. Again, man, we tend to want to wait for either the next Messiah or the police to come help us. Not realizing, man, Messiah's within us, it's us. And not understanding that the police can it's not for the betterment of the community or the people in it, that they would come and do that. Nah. That shit been going on, man. It been going on. They play that game. If they ain't the ones running it, then they might have a problem with it. But we got to look at everything that's in play. Figueroa leads straight down there to the Coliseum. The Olympics, and they say this, what they say that they're making off the Olympics. What's the number? I think maybe hundreds of billions. All right. Now, Figueroa is like what they call that, not a museum, but a landmark. So white people are fascinated. Oh, this is Figueroa. Oh, honey. They get it. Where the horse? Where the, and oh well, honey, they got rid of them so we can drive up Fig and we'll pull up someone they'll enjoy it that way. But they'll also just enjoy the fact that they can ride up Figueroa, man, and not be accosted by someone, not be carjacked, not be robbed, Again, it's a lot to this, man. I'm just hinting at 48. How much? 6.8 billion. And that's just what they're saying. See, they not, and that's another game they play. Hey, man. Nah. Boy, look, bet you it's more than that. Bet you it's more than that. It's more than that just in rebuilding this situation and getting ready for the Olympics. Think about that. That's another 3 years, 2.5 years. They're going to spend 6 point whatever billion times that before the Olympics get here. Come on, man. It's something that they're using. Again, the Olympics is, I think, just a pretense. All right. Hey, the fact of the matter is, they need to move the rest of you black people up out of LA, and you Mexicans too, so they can redevelop the whole area. So where we going? Most blacks know where most of the blacks are nowadays. Somewhere Palmdale, Lancaster. I mean, hey, let's just tell the truth. California City, affordable housing out there, nice homes too. They tell them nice homes, down there. And Section 8 homes too. They let you go on that thing. And they'll let you live out in there about 20, 30 years. And when they ready to redevelop that area, guess what? Move your ass out of that one too. We don't own nothing. We don't own nothing. I'm just saying, man. Wherever we are, man, we supposed to stand up, man. Same way we would for a street that don't none of us own. But a lot of us died on. We stood up for that shit, did time for that shit. But we'll let a sister be accosted in the streets or pimped out. We'll let other races of people, man, just abuse and exploit our people, man. And we don't say shit. Unless they said where they was from. And most times, church, I'm gonna tell you, the Army cats still ain't gonna do nothing in. Oh, well, man, just kick back, man. He the homie, man. Don't trip. Are they all right? Because they own stores. They shoot your homies. They kill your homegirls. You know? They all right. You still go spend money with them. We all do. Yeah, whole lot going on, man. And it's only happening like this because we are not educated, bro. JC Senior, man, how you doing? He says self and community accountability starts with oneself, but it's contagious as a family. Hey, self first, man. You got to know yourself, man. You got to be in tune with self for you can even step to me and act like you love me. And I hear it all the time, man. Let's get something straight, man. Nobody's fool. You dig? I hear it all the time. I see how individuals treat themselves, how they carry on. Talking about you love me. I don't buy that shit. You know? I don't buy that shit. Because I love me enough to know, to pay attention. You know? I love me enough to when I'm around individuals, even when I know they don't mean a damn thing to me, I still respect them. I still show them respect and courtesy. Because that's what I want, man. When I deal with individuals, you know, straight up, man. Self. I'm accountable for me, man, to the point, man, where I know I gotta be. And that makes me, man, when I know that makes me accountable for those I love. Gotta be, man. That's what we're missing, man. Again, knowing oneself, man, being educated properly, man, and being accountable. Yeah, we ain't got no unity. Yeah, we ain't got no unity, man. We got people can't even unify with self. Tell you, man. I said it last week. We got this thing where a lot of us, we won't admit it. And some of it is actually self-explanatory, but some of us are in denial. When we look at ourselves, we don't like what we see. You know how you know? You know how you know? Look at how you change yourself or how you attempt to change yourself to be more appealing. All right? Just think about that. More acceptable, prettier, finer, more handsome. You know? Just look at that. You know? It's easy, man. It's easy to see it. Just gotta look. You just gotta want to look at yourself first, man. That's how you know. How you see you. There's nothing wrong with chastising self because that's you're supposed to do that. Keep you on point. But you're not supposed to hate yourself. If you're hating yourself, something's going on. You need to get to that. Get to that. Address it. That's how much you love yourself. You want to do away with this thing that's bothering you. You know? Real shit. We can never give up, man. Not only on our own, but on ourselves. We should never give up. We should not give up. We should not give up. Donald Matthews said, man, we put in work and mastered all negativity. We did that. I think, and then he goes on to say, why can't we do it for positivity? Because I said this, D-Bird. Being negative is easy. Man, that shit is flawlessly easy. You know, it's just easy. But being positive, homie, it's work. It's work, man. That's more work than any of us know. You know, that's the type of work that make you tired, make you, oh man, fuck this, man. Oh no, man, it's too much work. I've been doing this shit for 3 years, man. I know, you know, a month into the negativity, you the man. Ain't taking no time to be recognized as that figure in a negative sense. You know what I mean? Being negative is easy. Like giving up. Giving up is easy. But continuing, going on, pushing forward, you know, staying with the grind. Well, that's hard work, man. To be positive is hard work. We all know that, man. Come on, y'all. We know. Kimberly Mitchell back. Hey, now how you doing, Kimberly? She said, hey, real ones. Jagger Hoover said black unity is detrimental to them. He'll spit. So let's start loving each other. So let's see how detrimental it can be to them. They need some detrimental shit, and, you know, some unity to detrimentally fuck them up. Shit, it's time. Yeah, let's do that. You know? Yeah, let's do that. Real spit, man. Real spit. Chief Burnleaf. That's another name I like. Chief Burnleaf. He said, my grandpa, RIP, was a part of the businessman. Names I can remember. Alley Oop, Barry White, Bubble Up, Bubba, Big Melvin, Whitey. Any memory of these guys? Look at, man, I hope I ain't coming off to be that old, bro. I, I knew as a kid, we knew a couple, you know, as children, you know, before they had played out or whatever the case may be. But those names, no, I can't recall those names. Bubble Up. I got family that called me Bubble Up. Man. But yeah, bro. You know, yeah, honestly, a couple of names sound familiar. I've never met these brothers, man, personally. You know, I just remember as kids, or even go for like Figueroa boys growing up. You know, just as kids, we knew who. Oh, that's Whoop the Whoop, and he around there with Figueroa. You know what I mean? That's the extent of it, bro. That's the extent of it. But yeah, man. Um, just imagine though, had those brothers, the businessman, Figueroa boys, Gladiator, whoever, had the mind to invest in the communities of the streets they ran, not just literally, but figuratively. What would have spilled over, you know, what the mindset of those coming up behind them would have been. You know what I mean? All of the, you know, hey man, for real, we really may be in a situation with Whitey had we stuck to the plan. You know, damn Black Wall Street, we talking about we run Los Angeles in the business sense, legitimately. Just think about that, man. Had brothers, you know, just figure this shit out, man, and left a legacy worth having. Other than, you know, the legacy we trying to steal now, and which only is trying to speak truth to power, man. You know, that's it. So if I passed away tonight, all I would have was, hey man, I not only turned a new leaf in my life, I was trying to get, hey man, listen, y'all, wake up. You know, what's that movie? Spike Lee. Was that Radio Man? Who was that in the streets talking about wake up? You know, see, this shit ain't nothing new, man. This shit is not new. We're just reliving it. It's recycled, man. we're in this paradox, man, where listen, man, we just reliving this. It's like some Twilight Zone shit. And it's us. We the only ones reliving this shit. Again and again. Man, come on, y'all. Damu Roberts, man, good to see you in the chat again, brother. Salute to you too as well, homie. Black Power. Kimberly Mitchell says, so sad to hear on the news today. A kid got killed at school today. School just started. Be super nosy parents. Hug your kids. Love one tighter tonight. Prayers to my real loved ones. That's what I'm saying, though. That's part of what I'm saying. Now, who's to know? You know, with everything going on, you know, we knocking off our saviors, man. Or our saviors are being knocked off. You know? Who's to know? If this ain't worth it, man, I don't know what is, man. No, Chief Burnleaf, I'm not more of the gladiator school, man. You know, but I understand gladiator school. I've been through some places, man, where, you know, they were gladiator school number 2 or 3, you know, where we learn things, you know what I mean? We learn things that were easy to learn, you know? Like I said, man, most cats know me, man, you know, we done been through some shit, man. I know a lot of good brothers, man, a lot of good brothers, some who are still here, and respected, you know. Some brothers, man, in their own way, they had enough sense to get the hell out the way, man. Hey, man, you know what? I made it through all that hell and back. I'm not dealing with that shit, so you know, no more. So in some instances, you can't fault them, you know. You can't fault them because a lot of brothers are thinking in terms of survival, you know. It's crazy, man, but it is, man, what it is. And that means, man, we're in a situation where a lot of brothers have to look at it like this because, you know, I think the mind, and I said this last week, a lot of brothers say, man, I'll look around, I'll be the only brother in the shit trying to get shit right. And then people find some way, come get me. You know, brothers are looking at it like I said, man, nothing new, man. We're in this thing, man, this spin cycle. We had a lot of brothers in the 60s and 70s was pushing the line in terms of unity, in terms of blackness. Look what happened. And I think a lot of brothers who are my age, maybe older, remember that shit. And they're like, hey, man, no. Because these cops now, they worse. You know, they can AI some shit on your ass and make you look like you done some shit you didn't even think about doing. You just want to put your hands up. You know, black power. And you know, I don't know. So a lot of brothers might look at things like that, like, hey, man, you know what? It ain't worth the risk. You know? I don't know, man. I know this shit messed up, man. That's what I do know. I know I got dudes that used to love me. Some probably love me a little bit. Some never did. And it's like, man, they can't stand me even more now. You know? You know, some cats probably, hey, man, you were one of the chosen ones. Look at you. Yeah. No, man. I chose to love where I come from, man, to the point where, man, I don't want to see nothing happen. No, I don't, man. Again, man, a lot of us made it through hell and back. Man, we shouldn't want no young brother or sister having to do life in prison, man. We shouldn't want to have to bury young brothers and sisters, man, buying bullshit. Anybody that been through this shit, man, come on, man. Real shit, man. We done lost brothers. We done lost brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers on this shit, man, which makes no sense. Because again, none of us own that shit. And I said in the past, I could see if all these sets were corporations, damn an organization, man. But what corporations, multi-million-dollar corporations, and there was a hostile takeover. I get it, because they do that in real life, you know. In the world of finance, they do that in real life. You know, say so-and-so car You know, he must have went to sleep at the wheel, you know. Or whoop the whoop step out in the street and not looking both ways and got hit by a car going northbound, you know. But these were heads of corporations, you know, these, you know, big money, you know, businesses. So I would understand that to an extent, you know, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Dudes are fighting over nothing. Now you got dudes where, you know, where dudes fighting over these streets, man, and none of us on it. But now you got dudes fighting over podcasters, man. You got podcasters at each other's throats. Buying gossip. Number, make it make sense, man. That's all I'm saying, bro. Make it make sense. We you know, we're in dire straits, man. We, you know, I'm trying to make light of it, but I'm not being funny. You know what I mean? Shit's serious, man. We are in dire straits. Y'all look at these kids, man. These little kids, man, 6, 7, 8. Look how they acting. Check them out. Check them out. Look at their mamas. Look at their sisters. Look at their dad. Check this shit out, man. And you tell me on the next get out, are we in trouble or not? But we're going to remain in this predicament if we're not willing to step up, man, and just, hey, man, get involved. And then start with self first. Real shit. If you running around, man, your family, your house, and you with the bullshit, you're a bad example. You're promoting bullshit. You run around cussing all day, fighting, pulling guns. You're part of the problem. Hey, James and Lance, I see you, man. Get that car right, man. Get that car right. No, don't get me talking about cars today either, people. Don't get me talking about cars and brothers in their cars or these cars these brothers driving. Some of them ain't theirs. You know, and you get in these situations, man. Next thing you know, you ain't got a car. Don't get me started talking about cars, man. A lot of brothers do drive their women's car, and they be thinking they fly. That's your woman car. I can tell when I see them when I'm in my truck, and you trying to be all cool. Man, that's your woman car, home. Don't get down about yourself, man. Get out your woman car, man. Get out your woman's car, man. Go get you a car. Get you a job. Get you a job, man. You know, save up your money, go buy your used car, go, you know, go lease you one or something. But get out your woman's car, man. Because when she get mad at you, because you was out in it too late, or somebody was in it, wasn't supposed to be in it, and take the car from you, guess what? That's gonna be a problem. You ain't gonna like that. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem, man. So, you know, I'm just saying to brothers, man, do what we supposed to do. That's also a starter right there. Do what you're supposed to do, man. Keep your shit tight. You know, keep your shit tight. Man, I hope you do good with that car though, James. Man, I hope you get that thing how you like it. You know, I'm about to do something with my truck, man. I don't know. Sure. I don't like working on my shit though. I take my shit to the damn car. Hey, man. Hey, fix this. And then, you know, I talk shit when they try to charge me. Like, hey, man, hold up, man. That don't cost no $150 to do. No, man. Let me Google this. You know, I talk big shit. And I'm gonna tell you might not believe me, but about the time I'm through, shoot, I wasn't paying what they was quoting. My wife will tell you that. Man, shoot, you crazy. Like, nah, man. Nah. And I'll do just like that. Nah, man. Nah. I'm not giving you that. Nah, that's some bullshit. You know, that's just how I go with that. Hey, man, no nonsense. I say, hey, man, I work too hard, just give you my money like that, man. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see what Google say. You know, hey, man, it is what it is. Okay. Yeah, man, you know, this is under the groove, people. You know, we speak no evil, we see no evil, and we hear no evil. You know, all love, man, to all the communities. All right. Like I say, man, all the time, and I will say it, as many times as I need to or as I must. Love yourself. Love yourself, man. And I know for a lot of us, that's work. That's work. That's work. But it's worth it. Because when you get to the point where you're loving yourself, ain't gonna be no problem, man, for you to love the next man. Love the people that's closer to you, man, and do what need to be done around them and with them. You're gonna take care of them like you take care of you. So love yourself, man, so that you can love others. Man, all peace and love, man, to the people. Power is in the people. Let's get this thing done, man. Let's get it done. Hey, see one day I see you jumped in there, man. I'm about to go and cut out, man. But good to see you in the chat. I'll be back Thursday, all right? Man, when you get time, man, if you get time, jump in early, man. And come on, man. And let's chop it up. But people, it's all love and respect. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, all right? Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. You have been, you are, and you will be under the grove. Power is in the people. One love.